this world, and there are people who want to cause harm to our very freedom and liberty. And if we don't have leaders in Washington who are ever aware of that ever-present threat and are not standing up and taking a leadership position on that, I mean, this is what keeps us up at night. So, and I use often as the example this START treaty with the nuclear, the counting of the nuclear weapons, and basically we've told Russia, here's the bottom line, so we're going to decrease ours, but you've got that much room to increase yours. I mean, what are we doing? So again, we're going to have that opportunity in 2012, but we got to win this Congress back and have the opportunity to show leadership on these international issues.
And that is Israel, and we need to remain their friend, but yet if they do something against Iran, is our country now saying they're going to retaliate against Israel?
We would never retaliate against Israel.
I don't know.
Well,
We already have. With the governor knows that we should there and we sent a flotilla to support the offender, and
that's a good point.
we're upside down.
Good. Israel has been, first of all, it's democracy in the Middle East, and a great ally and friend, and we need to be supported. And that's the way I've been in the Congress. And it just strikes me that in the last year and a half or so, we've kind of forgotten who our real friends are internationally at times, or it feels that way at least, as they try to reach out to people and bite your hand. And I was always raised to remember who your friends are. And respect and take care of your friends.
My only comment was we ought to pay attention to Israel. If we fought wars like they do, fight to win,
Yes.
instead of just continuing to occupy, I think we can learn a lot. And if they fight, we will win.
Jamie, you got that right.
I'll kind of redirect back to the economic situation.
Sure.
You mentioned earlier.
See, you care about a job, you're going to graduate. Right?
Exactly. You mentioned that the money that the Treasury does bring in, almost all of that goes immediately out to our entitlement programs, and we're having to borrow to spend for the rest of it. What do each of you plan to do as far as, like you said, Mr. Roby, it's hard to cut entitlement programs, but what do you plan to do to at least reform them so they're not so expensive?
Well, when it comes to Social Security and Medicare, there's no magic bullet. There's no silver bullet, whichever way you want to say it. But I would suggest, and this is where we're going to have to lean on Congressman Walden's experience, I would suggest that it's going to take strong political will from both sides of the aisle. And I think, one of the problems with our entitlement programs is that there's zero accountability when it comes to how those dollars are spent. I read in a Heritage Foundation memorandum that, one way, and it's not the fix, but a place to start would be to require Social Security and Medicare to submit to Congress 30-year budgets that would come under review every 5 years. We're not even doing that. And yet our Department of Defense budgets, are under heavy scrutiny every time. So I would suggest even, you talk about rooting out inefficiency and waste. You talk about balancing a budget that we're required to by law and the federal government's not. It's about rooting out inefficiency and waste. And I think, and this is just my philosophy, whenever you are looking at a budget and how you're going to continue to fund, you always start there. What's necessary and what's not. How are we spending these dollars? How are we accountable for spending these dollars on anything? And you root out that. Certainly there's waste, there's fraud in Medicare. We know that. So what are we doing to call out these programs on those dollars? And I do think that starting with accountability in budgets is a good place to start. Again, I know that's not the answer. When Social Security began, there were 14 workers for every one that drew, and then now we're at
40 to 1.
and now it's
We're getting to a point where it'll be 2 to 1, and it's not sustainable.
no. So anyway,
And I think first of all, you have to reassure those who are on Social Security and Medicare, they're good to go. They will be taken care of. There is no political will, nor should there be, to do anything to harm those who have worked all their lives and now, believe this is what they're going to have. We have to do, our first obligation, and it's a solemn one, is to make sure that the system is solvent and can continue to pay the benefits that have been promised to those who are on it. Second, when you get into some of these other programs, is can you make them more efficient and still provide the service? I've never been in the camp that only the government has the secret to efficiency, okay? So I think in delivery of service, there are ways to cut costs. We tried several years ago successfully to rein in the rate of growth of Medicaid. Energy and Commerce Committee took this up under Republican leadership, and we gave states new authorities to manage their Medicaid program more efficiently. They were asking for it, we gave it to them. It saved 10, I've forgotten the exact number, so I won't throw it out there, but it was in the billions. And even with that, the outcry from the left was we're going to do horrible things to people who are on Medicaid. And all we were doing was reducing the rate of growth of Medicaid from something in the area of 7.7% to 7.3 or 7.4 to 7.1. It was like a 0.3% per year reduction in the rate of increase. And yet the states were asking for it because their budgets are exploding with these new programs. And they wanted more flexibility. So I think part of it is to create a bipartisan atmosphere like we used to have on the hospital board, where partisanship didn't matter, where you tried to solve the problem and deal with healthcare costs. There are ways to get there to do that. And the same applies on Social Security. There are ways to get in there. But I think we have to make sure everybody understands that this isn't about abolishing Social Security or anything like that. There's going to be a retirement program for Americans. I mean, that's the way it is. Now, the Democrats want to make this campaign about somehow that's what we're about. They refuse to talk about how they solve the problem. And, we all need to put those spears away because nobody's talking about getting rid of Social Security. We're talking about how do you make it solvent for the future. It's what you have to do in your city. It's what I had to do in my business. And you figure out how to solve it. And that's where we need. Not going to be easy. But none of these budget issues is easy. None of these budget issues is easy.
no, especially when
And
you
the
have
second,
calls at home.
and the second piece of this is, if you get the economy going again, you have more people paying in
Put
again.
people back to work, go back to jobs and spending.
And that is really a big chunk of this. One of the reasons that trust funds have been drawn down more rapidly than anticipated in the last 18 months is because the economy's in the tank. And you have people retiring earlier than they planned because they don't have a job. And the policies coming out of Washington are putting capital on the sidelines and lawyers' hands in the air, and we're stalled out. We've got to get certainty. I'll tell you, and I know this will sound a little partisan, but oh well. If Republicans take control of the House in November, the economy is going to improve fairly soon thereafter. Here's why. Because then business will have certainty that you're not going to have cap and trade, you're not going to have card check, and you're not going to have tax increases. And so then you can plan. Now, you've got a lot of work left to do, certainly, but I'll tell you, wearing those shoes in a small business owner, when I can't plan, I don't take risk. If I don't take risk, I don't expand. If I don't expand, I don't hire. Is that not your business? Isn't that kind of how it works? Pretty simple. Exactly how it works.
Congressman Marsha Blackburn was in Montgomery a couple of weeks ago, and she said, when she was talking, and I know y'all have a good relationship too, she said, it's always said that we're the party